Yeah. Welcome back, everyone, to the Wrinkled Podcast, episode number 2, where we
Ladies
got.
and germs.
Yeah. My name is Morgan. This is my co host, Hunter, aka Sir Squatch. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that top hat. That is a gentleman and a scholar.
Say I'm a gentleman.
Yeah. You address him as Sir Squatch. Gotta tip the hat. And I hope everyone's doing well. We've got some fun stuff to talk about today. So, well, I mean, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, quote unquote fun.
Fun. You know, it depends on who's watching, what kind of mood you're in. But yeah, man. So for those watching, my girlfriend has COVID. This is the first time she's had it. We've been very good at, I don't know, I guess being lucky. Because, we'll go out, we'll go grocery shopping. We haven't been like totally isolated in the house forever. So we still go out and do things when we need to.
Yeah, you guys aren't hermits.
Right. And, we keep the apartment clean and whatnot. So like I said, I feel like we've just been really lucky and really good at not catching it. And then this week, she's just like, man, I don't feel good. I'm like, oh, just sleep it off, see how you feel in the morning. Because I mean, that's always my response. It's like,
yeah,
I feel off, but you never really know until after a good night of sleep. And then she woke up and it was like, did you sleep? No. And I'm like, oh, God. Tested her and, came up positive. So it's like,
yeah.
I've been making jokes and it's funny because it started off as like, oh, yeah, that, it's just a coincidence. But then it keeps happening. Our luck is completely reversed in almost everything. When it comes to Amazon, I'll order something and then let's say, oh, you know what? It didn't turn out how I wanted it to be. I'll return it. And then I'll get the message saying, you know what? Just keep it. We'll refund you.
Oh.
When it's like too cheap to return or maybe it'll cost them,
yeah.
whatever the reason. I remember it happened with a game, like a brand new game. And they're like, just keep it. And I'm like, sweet. But then her packages like won't come or they'll go to the wrong apartment.
Yeah, they get stolen or dropped off the truck.
Yep. So I'm half expecting if I end up getting it from her, I might have like a headache or like, I don't know, some diarrhea. And then I can just see like the jokes moving forward. Like, are you kidding me? I was in bed. I was dying.
Yeah, for 4 days I was in agony.
And you just got the shits. Like, must be nice. So yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned luck because that's literally what it is.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like when I got it back in, I think it was September, of last year. Like I said, I worked through the pandemic, no issues, like at a physical location, no problem. Didn't get sick, even just like a cold or didn't even have that. Honestly, the mask helps a lot with that, to be fair. But I remember it was, I believe Labor Day. I was taking my niece out. She wanted some clothes. We were going to go get some clothes one night. Come back, whatever, like Monday rolls around. This is Sunday when we got clothes and whatnot. Monday rolls around. My sister gets a text from her teacher saying, hey, one of the kids in her class was positive for COVID. And then literally like maybe 20 minutes later, my niece was like, yeah, I'm not feeling so good. I literally ran to my room because I was like, I'm not dealing with this. Sure enough, I wake up the next day. I'm like, oh man, like my mouth's a little dry. I got a headache. I'm pretty tired. I'm like, I swear to God. Sure enough. I'm like, how? Like you spend, almost 2 years into this pandemic, not having a problem, whatever the case is. All of a sudden, it's just like it's thrust upon you. Even though, like, in reality, like you did everything you could. Like I'm double vaxxed. I have my first booster. And still, it's just that is the luck. Unfortunately, no matter what I could have done, I think I would have got it at some point. Now, luckily, my symptoms weren't as bad. I think, I said it was mainly headache. That was the worst thing. I think was extreme fatigue. Like I would literally drink a whole. For those of you unaware, caffeine keeps you jittery, keeps you awake. I'll drink a whole like Bang energy drink, which is like 300 milligrams of caffeine, which is like twice a cup of coffee, and I would go right back to bed, like no joke, like half an hour later.
That's crazy.
Like just the amount of like fatigue it just put on my system, that lasted for about 3 or 4 days. And this was back when it was like 110. That I don't know if you remember that week. It was like 110 for like a week straight.
Our car is in the shop because during that week, the AC clutch melted
Ooh, yeah,
onto the compressor, and we took it in. The guy's like, I don't know how this happened, but it completely melted.
yeah. The
It's like,
fucking global warming, guys. It's real.
what?
Uh, but yeah, so I'm sitting in my room. It's fucking 100 something degrees out. I'm just dying over here. I'm like, how is this fair? Meanwhile, people are just like willy nilly, fucking just straight raw dogging, no mask, and they're good.
Just a raw dog in society.
Yeah, yeah. It's raw dogging life as a whole, man. It was like, yeah, I guess I deserve it, but so like I said, I hope I hope your girlfriend's okay. Hope she's doing well and everything's all right. Because like I said, I know it sucks a lot. So
Yeah, it doesn't look good. I mean, the biggest challenge is just trying to get her to hydrate. It's just like drink,
yeah,
hydrate.
yeah, we do tend to underestimate how much liquid we lose just even not doing anything.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, she doesn't drink like a lot of water anyway.
Hmm.
I mean, she's a lot smaller than I am, so she probably doesn't need as much anyway. But
Hmm.
I think that's been a big challenge. Plus, she loves food,
Yeah,
so taste buds going away is like the worst thing on earth. It's like,
yeah.
you know what? My legs could be broken, but if I can taste my food, I'm okay.
Hmm.
So,
Listen, man, there is something just spectacular about how things taste. So I'm
uh,
right there with her.
fair enough. Listen, so the day she got diagnosed, or like we did the at-home test, we're like, okay, you tested positive. We're gonna hydrate. We're gonna, I'm gonna make you some soup. We're gonna do all the things. Here's a rag on your head. We're gonna keep you comfortable, keep you cool. Just kind of wait it out because I know that's really the only thing you can do is treat the symptoms and
Yeah,
wait it out. And I'm checking her temperature and it's like, oh, 101.2, and I'm like, okay, that's high, but it's not in terms of an adult. It's nothing to like, oh my god, hospital.
hmm,
And so we're keeping her hydrated and whatnot. And then I come back like an hour later, and she's like, can you take my temperature? And I take it, and it's 103.1, and I'm like, and
yeah.
she's like,
That's kind of close.
yeah. And she's like, what is it? And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and we're gonna go to urgent care. And she's like, okay. Riddle me this, Batman, Sir Squatch. Why is it called urgent care when there's a 2 hour wait when we get there? We check in and we're, getting there urgently. We need care in an urgent matter.
Yeah, yeah.
And they say, oh, that'll be a 2 hour wait. And then as we're waiting on that one, I call a different one and ask, hey, I've got this going on. What's your wait time? The lady at the desk says, I'm sorry, sir, I can't tell you that.
Hmm.
So what you're saying is you don't want me to know how long it'll take for me to get my urgent care. So at that point, we're just like, all right, let's go to the ER because this is total crap.
Yeah.
It it was infuriating and sad at the same time. Like, really? This is
No, like I said, listen, I get it. I had a very similar situation when I was younger. As kids tend to do. I was very like I was all over the place. I used to climb on shit all the time and like trees and like do dumb shit, like jump off the top of my roof and whatnot. Um, so like one summer evening, like I just happened to climb the tree in our yard, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be dope. I'm a hang climb on this branch and I'm gonna land on the lawn chair. And I did, but I also had like a 6 inch cut on my inner thigh. uh, that I looked down and I could see the meat. I'm just like normally like a cut, you just see like blood or whatever. I was just like,
Did you say meat?
hey, not that meat. It's close to there, but it's not that close. Thank God. I'd be half the man today if. Um, but we ended up going to urgent care, uh, and the cut was so wide and so deep that when I showed it to like, I guess there was like not an attending, I guess, but like a doctor that's just like, oh, assessing everyone's injuries, where the case is. He goes, that's gonna need staples. And I look at my mom and I go, Staples? Because I'm thinking like, oh, they're gonna bust out the red stapler and just like, you know. But no joke, I sat there in that ER or yeah, the urgent care for about 3 hours. before they took me in to get taken care of.
Oh my
And
God.
at that point, like I was in a lot of pain because like the adrenaline wore off.
Hmm.
I was super like nervous because up until that point, I only had like shots. I never had any major like injuries or you know cuts or surgeries, nothing like that. So, and here's the thing, they couldn't give me, they couldn't put me under. I had to have the local anesthetic.
Hmm.
Um, and I felt every single. There was like I think 7 staples they put in my thigh. I felt every single one go through my leg. So no, I know waiting for, like I said, it's horrendous, and
Damn.
it's, yeah, I think that's just a symptom, especially nowadays. I think of the current climate just everywhere. Like this, I don't think this is localized to like the US or whatever, Canada or, like healthcare wise. Like, I don't think there's a difference. I think it's just, hey, this is how it's going to be just because, people are sick all the time, and unfortunately some stuff does take precedent. But to me, if an adult walks in an urgent care with 100 something degree fever, I'm gonna go, yeah, I might be a little more urgent about that, instead of
Yeah.
just kind of like BS and like,
I mean, even you, like you had this deep cut, need staples. You're probably
mhm.
bleeding,
Oh yeah,
and I mean, they're supposed to. At least that's what they do. Like in a car wreck, they triage people and they
yeah,
put
yeah,
them in groups and say, "Hey, these are need attention now, and these ones are good to like wait."
yeah,
You'd think like a big gash on the leg. I mean, you've got some major arteries near there. Like,
yeah.
you
Like I
might
said,
want to
that
address
that
that.
that doctor did come out and like look at it and was like, I'll get you some gauze to put on that. And he gave us a gauze and was like, just keep pressure on it. And then by the time we got to the by the time we got to the into the room, the whole like gauze was just soaked in blood. I'm like, man, this doesn't, I don't feel good right now.
Yeah, I thought
you
this
know?
was supposed to help.
Yeah. It's like, why am I getting so lightheaded? Why is that light so bright? Jeebus, is that you?
Why is this cut so deep?
Yeah.
Did you say deep?
Did you
Yeah,
say
it's
meat? Did you say
it's.
steak?
Oh my
I like
God.
to imagine that the guy who named urgent care was like, they're gonna get a kick out of this.
Yeah, like
Like,
he was the understudy for the guy who did Iceland and Greenland.
uh,
He's like, you know what? I'm going to specialize in medicine.
yeah,
And let me tell you what my first idea is. I mean, even the emergency room, it took you 3 hours to get in.
yeah.
Emergency room.
Like I said,
Yeah.
it's that's just healthcare nowadays. Unfortunately, like I said, it's a very shitty thing to say because there's no shortage of doctors or nothing like that. It's just, again, they just want you sitting there because whatever, just like part of me kind of gets it, but again, I'm not a doctor. I never worked in a hospital, so I don't like, I can't say to like whatever, but you would think like, again, hey, this person's sick, or hey, there's like this, 6-inch cut on this kid's leg that's kind of getting real bloody and like looks close to some major, crap there. You would
Right.
just think like, maybe we'll take a look at that. It's like, nah, let him sit there. If he dies, he dies. And
This
then
is
as I'm dying, a little kid in me is like, it is what it is.
that do be the way.
It's
As the great philosophers once said, it is what it is.
yeah, my favorite testicles.
Maybe that's I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense just seeing that in person of why they're always looking for personnel in the medical field
Yeah,
because there never
yeah.
seems to be enough. But
Like I
yeah,
said,
that
and
was
everyone every time, again, we just came off of. I mean, I don't want to say we're still in a pandemic, but I think we're kind of in the recesses of it, and we just came off of this. We're like nurses and doctors and attendings and practitioners and everything like that. We're just like at an all-time use case high. Like you're, some of these, guys girls were working 80 100-hour weeks, just to get through shit. So I know a lot of them are burnt out, and I don't blame them, you know. Um, so like I said, it's just, it really does suck because, you know something like that, you can go from 0 to 10 immediately, in terms of pain or detriment. So, but
Yeah. Yeah, it really sucks. I would like to see how different it is in other countries, like Canada,
mhm.
just to see if there's any like drastic difference.
From what I understand, it's for certain things like, yeah, you go to the ER or whatever, like, you get taken care of. I would say maybe quicker or maybe around the same time. But I think for different procedures, like potential like surgeries or whatever the case is, like some life altering thing you might need, apparently it's like months, But again,
Mhm.
is that better than here now where it's like, oh, you have to go to 16 different, you got to be referred to 16 different specialists for you know, your duodenum, It's like, yeah, 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 like nobody who tell me who's studying my duodenum, That's a real thing, by the way.
I
Um,
know, I love that word.
it's great.
Duat.
The duodenum. Um, but it's
Ah,
just like,
my
they
duodenum.
yeah, they want to run you through all these tests. They want to like get what they can from like your insurance or whatever the case is, like to justify whatever. But I'm like, dude, I just need like help, you know?
Right.
Like I don't need to like be bounced around between, a dozen people. Like I need three people. I need my initial doctor. I need a specialist. I need a surgeon to look at what I'm doing. That's really all you need. But again, they want you back and forth, and there's this whole thing. So, got to get your blood drawn. You got to do this. You got to do that. I'm like, I don't need that. You can do that in the process of.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's always something. So again, it's
We'll see how it turns out.
yeah.
And
Said
I'm while she's sick, I told her I'm like I'm gonna use you for jokes or funny stories because
hey, listen, man.
at least if you're feeling bad, other people can get a kick out of it. Hopefully,
Hmm.
and if not, well, I'll get a kick out of it at least.
I'll laugh at you behind your back.
But then I'll send you the video,
I mean, yeah, that's
so
just
at least then you can see it. So engage in this, folks. Let's see some engagement, some positive engagement. That way, she can be like, "Well, I made a difference. I made people laugh."
exactly.
And thank you everyone for who all the subs and comments and on our TikTok page. I'll put that like right here somewhere.
Yeah, really,
The
really appreciate that.
yeah, the views are getting up there. The comments, I love the comments, whether they're good or bad. Just getting that interaction, that engagement. Chef's kiss. It's like when you get that perfect burrito bowl from Chipotle and nothing
Mm.
leaks out and nothing's soggy. It's all just perfection. Or like a perfect chicken quesadilla from Taco Bell with just the right amount of jalapeno cream sauce. Give me that.
Yeah, and I also like the jalapeno cream sauce from Taco Bell.
So thank you,
What
everyone.
I was gonna say, what would it be for me, man? Like a good bowl of ice cream, you know?
Oh yeah, not too hard, but not too soft.
Yeah,
Just soft enough to where you can easily spoon it.
yeah, just fluffed enough, not too soft, not too hard. Just the way Papa Bear likes. Oh
You heard it
my
here
God.
first. He likes his ice cream fluffed.
Oh, we're talking about ice cream. Listen, I'm missing the conversation here, man.
Oh God, I got a good bowl of ice cream is good.
Oh, it really is, man. So especially on like a warm day, it's one of those things to me that it's unbeatable.
Yeah, I had some mocha cold brew coffee ice cream. What last night I think
That sounds bougie.
it was good. It was a basic like 370 calories for the entire pint. Protein.
Oh,
Like if you want to feel good about eating the ice cream
hmm.
or at least feel better. Yeah, so I've been searching for decent ones of those, and it was really good. It's like
That's
I'd
good.
I'd love to make a shake out of this. The
I
shake that'll make you quake.
Jesus. I've been seeing that. I guess we're on ice cream for a minute here, but I've been seeing that it's like that. It's a Ninja product. Like they make like the blenders, like the food processors, things like that. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's called the Creamy, I believe, the Ninja Creamy, and you just make ice cream with it.
The
And I'm like,
Ninja Creamy?
yeah. Like I said, it like mixes ice cream, and I think it comes with like recipes, and obviously you can find recipes online for like locale or you know. I'm afraid of what you're looking at here now.
No, I found it.
Okay, all right.
All right, let's put this up real quick. We can put that on the here's the Ninja Creamy, folks.
Yeah, the thing is like, but it's like $250 for like an ice cream maker. Like it says a limited one, but it says ice cream maker.
Right,
You know what I'm
that's
saying? Like it doesn't do anything else. I'm like, and that's. I mean, I'm sure again, as with most, like if you're into that, like if you're more into cooking, whatever the case is, I'm sure you could find a use for this. Like maybe mixing like salsas or soups or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure there's something you can do with it. Yeah, and there's like, you see the yogurt, like the I think you do like alcohol, again, frozen drinks, margaritas, whatever the case is. But I was like,
interesting.
I saw someone make a recipe for that, and I was like, oh, I wonder how much this like Ninja Creamy thing. It was like $250. I'm good. I just do by hand.
Could you imagine, like, guys, let's go home and play with my creamy? Huh?
And then also make ice cream. You have to churn that milk, boy. Get it nice and thick. You gotta drink it from a straw. Um, but I was like, yeah, that sounds dope. $250 for that.
Oh my god, that'll
And then I remember I bought a blender that was like $200, and I was like, okay, but like it like warmed stuff up. It had like the whole shebang with it. So it was like it kind of got more with it.
yeah. There's some that do a lot, and this is not one of those.
No,
It
like I said,
makes
I'm
creamy
sure.
ice cream.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody's got some type of you know
Use
thing
case.
for it that's just like, yeah. Oh yeah, I use it for making my you know I don't know.
Something creamy. Whatever it is, it's
Yeah,
gonna be creamy.
yeah.
That's the guarantee. That'll be the first edition when we have our podcast studio. We'll
Oh
have our
shit.
our setup, our neon sign, and everything, and then we'll bring one of those creamy machines.
And that's what I'll do is I'll just put my camera on that and make ice cream, and by the time the ice cream's done, the podcast is finished.
Yep,
Perfect.
exactly.
So that sounds great,
And then we'll
actually.
we'll
Holy shit.
end each podcast with a big bowl of creamy.
And then also ice cream.
You heard it here first. Oh man, that
You heard it here, folks.
yep. Mm-hmm. That is very bougie.
Yeah,
Uh,
this is
yeah.
definitely a high end purchase.
It almost feels like the next tier of like an air fryer.
Oh man, now that you said that, that's probably 100% correct. Because like
Yeah.
an air fryer is like, you can do a lot of shit with an air fryer. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing like I think now people are like willing to experiment more with it.
Hmm.
Instead of just like buying the frozen shrimp from Costco and throwing them in there. It's like no. Like, oh, I'm doing steak and potatoes in there. I'm like, huh?
Yeah, dude, you can do so much. Like we've cooked raw chicken. Like we've thrown raw chicken in there,
Hmm.
baked it, came out amazing.
Yeah,
Like
you know.
frozen hash browns, they take like a few minutes. I saw
Hmm.
somebody cook like pancakes in there with like they like poured it and then put like paper on top, and it was
Oh,
it,
interesting.
it was weird, but plus they're super cheap now. You can get an air fryer from
Yes.
Best Buy for like $30.
Yeah, exactly. I saw something the other day. It was like a bunch of things in one. It was like a broiler, air fryer, microwave, and like a couple other things. It was like 12 or 15 things in one type deal. I was like, man, that's crazy. It's like I guess as I think apartments are starting to become more common and things like that, like you kind of need to save space where you can. So something like that would be like a pretty good addition to, like an apartment or even like a small home potentially, you know what I'm saying? Like in lieu of just an oven or just a microwave. It's like, no, you can get like a little bit more than that.
Yeah, that's what I think is if you were, in somewhere small, like a New York City apartment or something, where there's hardly any room for anything. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
get an air fryer. Like there's so much you can do. Or even this apartment. I know when they moved into this apartment, like it didn't come with a microwave. And
Yeah.
this place is like renovated. It's nice. It's got
Hmm.
nice appliances, and it's like, really a microwave? I feel like that's like
It's
standard one.
exactly, it should be standard. It's how it comes. Yeah,
So
makes it
I
hard.
made a boo boo. It's
Uh-oh.
fixed. It's fixed now. But I set up. I forgot to set up the picture on the vertical cam. So our first 25 minutes only captured me on the vertical.
Oh.
So any shorts I make from that, I'll have to do my smooth / wrinkled brain thing from last time.
Mm-mm.
But I'm
This is
glad I caught it.
hilarious. Yeah.
So
Listen, that's, the trials and tribulations of young up and comers.
that's right. What you said? Young what?
Young men. There's no need to feel sass. I said young man. Put your
Huh?
hand in my
Cut.
God.
Hey man, this wasn't in your script.
Uh-oh. Is OJ coming for me next?
Oh God, what a good day.
Yeah, it's nice and rainy out. It's cool.
Yeah. This came out of nowhere. I was thinking, okay, it's about to start getting sunny again.
Mhm.
Spring is coming and it's coming quick, except it's not. Pulled out the rain, started getting wet again. I was like,
Listen, the longer it stays away from me, the happier I'll be in my life. So
yeah, the heat is pretty terrible up here. It's so dry.
yeah, I think that's a thing. Like I was in Texas a couple years back. It's just like it's wet. It's wet heat. You know what I'm saying? It's like that Louisiana swamp heat. It's just warm and
It's
humid and
it's
like
moist.
yeah, it's great. It's great for my skin. You know, this shit like just dries out my skin completely, and I'll walk around like a ghoul or what you call it from Fallout. Smooth skin.
Uh,
I,
I need to play more Fallout.
they're irradiated, but they can still talk. They're not like vicious.
Oh, so like the people from Mad Max.
Yeah, just more irradiated.
Yeah. Dude, she showed me Mad Max Fury Road. What a great
Mhm.
movie.
Excellent.
Like that was yeah.
It's one of those films that like you watch, and then I'll say to somebody, "Now watch that in black and white," like how he kind of made a second version of, and you go,
Ah.
"Holy It's like Logan. You watch Logan in black and white, you go, "Holy crap!" Like obviously, I think black and white is. I think nowadays it's definitely got its place in movies. I don't want to say like, oh, every movie should have it, but damn, dude, those are two perfect examples of like black and white films that just give it a watch, and just see what you're missing.
Yeah. I didn't think about that, but wow. Yeah, Logan black and white. I can see that being
Excellent,
just
excellent.
I mean, that's an excellent movie just in general.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. You know, um,
When did you
like I
say
said,
the 10-year anniversary of Interstellar?
next year, 2024.
Okay, okay. I've got it
So,
as my background right now. I've got Gargantua.
oh, nice.
No, that's not the name. Yeah, it is.
I
The black
Yeah, I
hole.
think
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I
And
think
then also the astronomic size of that black hole is that's what it's called.
Nani. God, what a movie. I
Yeah, I
love
know.
the story behind that. Like when they put out the image for the movie
Mhm.
and everyone lost their mind. Like, that's not how a black hole looks.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they came
And
out and they were like, actually, we gave it to a scientist and the computer spit out this image.
yeah, exactly.
So yeah,
Uh-huh.
it is.
It's it's the like. Well, I know more than you because that's what the TVs and the movie says it looks like. I'm like, oh my god, you guys are just something else, aren't you?
Yeah.
Um, it's like the guys, the writers, and a couple of the I think storyboarders for like Futurama. Like I guess like between a lot of those people that had like 60 or like 70 years of experience like in the sciences and like college experience, whatever the case is, and like they would do I mean, just for a show like about space, they would do like all these equations and like have all this like decent like banter about like you know astronomical odds and like all this kind of stuff, and like I love to see that kind of shit,
Mhm. It's putting work into the little things. I didn't know this. I just saw a clip of Neil deGrasse Tyson
Mhm.
getting a call from Seth MacFarlane.
Mm.
Uh, wait. Yeah, yeah. He directed Ted, right?
Yeah, 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 he
he
voiced
called
the bear in.
yeah, he called Neil deGrasse Tyson and asked him, like, I need to know what the sky looked like on this date.
Oh,
And so he, did some research and found like like what the sky would have looked like in
yeah.
this area
Oh,
of the US. And like he used the exact sky in the movie. I'm like, that's so cool. Does it matter for the audience? Not at all.
no, no,
But
definitely not.
it's a little attention to detail that is so nice.
I like to imagine like when Seth MacFarlane told Neil deGrasse Tyson he went outside and did like the Moon Knight thing. We kept on rewinding. He's like, okay, we're going back. We're going back. We're getting there. We're getting there. Ha
Oh
ha.
my
There we go.
God, what a scene.
Yeah, that show's great. So
Wow.
that
I
yeah,
love that show.
it did. It was Marvel's getting like I think the reputation, and I think fortunately so, because I don't want to say like superhero movies are kind of losing their steam, but superhero movies are kind of losing their steam,
Mhm.
But I think the shows are kind of going to be like
The
where we're
staple.
going to be looking to, yeah, from now on, because like if you look at Peacekeeper or what is it, Peacemaker,
Peacemaker.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, Peacemaker. Um,
For
Like I said, that
DC.
show
Yeah.
was yeah, it was received extremely well. Like I said, James Gunn put his hands in it, kind of did his magic, and we came out with something that was very excellent from a
Right.
character that, spoilers, now if you guys haven't seen the Suicide Squad movie from like 2021, I think,
Mhm.
um, that everyone hated because he
Right.
killed like one of everyone's favorite characters, you know, um, and it's like, how do you do that? For a character that was hated as much as Peacemaker was,
Mhm.
and then make an excellent show about him that's funny. It's got like the um, it's got the action, it's got the references, and it's good. You know,
Yeah, it's got
and
the
there's
humor too.
yeah,
I
and
think
then
it's really just if you can find a successful way to humanize a character. They don't
mhm,
even have to be human,
yeah,
but in that show they show like some of his past struggles and his father figure growing
yeah,
up and what that's going to do to you, and it's like, man, okay, he's done some terrible stuff, but you start to see the influence he had growing up, and it's like,
mhm.
oh, you know, he had it rough.
And again, like I know he's kind of like the I guess anti-hero, or you can kind of call him the villain, I guess, kind of, you
Yeah.
know. But there's something to be said about a character that, like, yeah, he's got his struggles, but he's just kind of thinking what he does is right,
Right.
And like for a good chunk of it, he is right. It's just how is he going about it? You know what I'm saying?
Those are the best written either villains or anti-heroes are the ones that, at least from a writing standpoint, you dive into the reasons of why they feel like they're right.
Mhm.
Because I feel like the best villains feel like they're doing what they see as the right thing.
Yeah,
Unless, you're like the Joker, where you're all chaos and you're just entertaining to
exactly.
watch.
Yeah.
But, Zod from Man of Steel, say what you will, like his only goal is to protect his people.
Hmm.
And that makes sense. That's how he was raised. That's how he was bred. That's
Yeah.
why he was born. He had a duty and he had all of that stripped away. So it's like, what is he supposed to do with his life? And Thanos, I watched my people obliterated because they didn't listen to me.
Yeah.
And nobody else will have the willpower to make this choice. So I'm going to have to make it for them. And I'll be hated, but they'll thank me in the long run. And it's just, it works so well when you
Yeah.
can capture like, okay, I don't agree, but I can see where they're coming from.
Yes. And it comes down to the conviction, you know, because at no point does Thanos ever stop and think, am I wrong here? You know, the whole time, even in Endgame, which is completely different Thanos, you know what I'm saying, timeline wise, um, he still thinks he is right, you
Right.
know, because has seen that he's won in another timeline. So he takes that and that's his fuel to ensure that he wins in this timeline. You know, like I said, it's the conviction, it's the against, whatever I'm being told, whatever the case is, like this is how I feel and this is what I will do about it.
I agree. Hey, man, I feel like he set the bar so high.
Oh yeah,
Eh, eh,
I mean, so Thanos has always been absurd, but I think for a good like initial saga, you know, with the stones and whatnot, I think it
mhm,
was excellent. I think Thanos was the perfect choice.
right. And the way
There's
they
so
executed
many,
like
yeah, and
that
there's so many
long.
villains to pull from, and we got a lot in like individual movies and you know, uh, like Claw in Black Panther, and then we got
Right.
Killmonger, obviously, like two like kind of not like super well known.
Like
Like
B
I think
tier.
Killmonger
Yeah.
is a little yeah. It's just like how do yeah, and we make those guys excellent because oh yeah, we got Andy Serkis, we got Michael B. Jordan,
Yeah.
you know.
Uh, and that's something too. I mean, I've never been a Captain America fan.
Mhm.
As a hero, like he's still not one of my favorites, but my God, Chris Evans as
Yeah,
Captain America.
I know, and like everyone always talks about like oh Robert Downey Jr. was born to play Iron Man. I'm like Chris Evans was born to play Captain America too, you know.
I agree. Like
Um,
both. I don't think they can bring
yeah,
back another Iron Man, at least not for a long time.
no,
He's so perfect. And same with Chris Evans. He captures that. And that's something I talked about a while back. I love the dynamic of when you're watching the Iron Man movies, it's slowly Tony realizing like how he's wrong, how
mhm,
the things he's been doing are the wrong things and he's been doing things the wrong way. So it's him becoming better. And when you watch the Captain America movies, it's him realizing how wrong the world is
yeah,
because he's this, I don't want to say self-righteous cuz he's this pinnacle of what a good person looks like.
yeah,
And he's always trying to do the right thing.
hmm
And he's living in this, future world for him that's so full of evil and mistakes and wrongdoing,
yeah.
shady shit. It's beautiful just to watch that parallel and how they eventually come together.
Yeah, I love that scene in Endgame where Tony's out in space, and then they bring him back and he's like super skinny, he's like real gaunt looking, you know what I'm saying, like sunken face and like obviously disheveled, he hasn't shaved and whatnot. And he's talking to everyone else and he kind of starts getting pissed at Captain America because he said we would do it together, you know. Um and it's just like at that moment you realize that Tony, like, for all that he'll say and all that he'll do, where the case is, he needs his team. And then the fact that Captain America wasn't there, and I mean, not out of like, oh, I'm not gonna help you, but it's like, no, we're fighting a way different battle than just what you guys were fighting,
Right.
Um, like I said, I think there's a good realization there that Tony does care, and I think he cares more than he lets on.
Yeah. He's got to be the one to pull the final trigger,
Oh
but
yeah,
he's got to be able to count on his team to keep everyone off him.
yeah. That moment was great too, man.
Oh,
Just Doctor
oh,
Strange, they look at each other and puts up the one finger. I'm like, dude, I remember being in the theater just like flipping my lid.
yep.
You know,
Dude,
I was
I
just,
cried so much during that movie. The
oh,
first watch through.
absolutely, absolutely. Even the third watch through, I'm in
Yeah.
tears.
It's just, man, I don't
It just,
care if it's fan service or any of that. Like, if it's done well, it can still be a beautifully done movie. Just,
mhm.
oh man.
I
Speaking of
said it's
Marvel, I know
Ant
you
Man,
wanted to.
yeah, Ant Man and the Quantum Mania.
I
Um,
haven't watched it yet.
Me neither.
Okay.
I just want to kind of go over what I've been hearing. You know, specifically about the CGI,
Hmm.
um, and mainly Modoc, because as we know, Modoc is machine only designed for killing.
Right.
Um, he's a very interesting character in like the Marvel, I guess, grand scheme. Um, I
For those of you who don't know what Modoc looks like, here's a
yeah,
comic panel. Let's
just show him how ridiculous. Like,
yeah. Okay, there we go. This is what Modoc looks like in the comics. This dude right here, this big floating head.
mhm,
So that's I mean, just looking at him, he's a pretty ridiculous character. So
Oh,
that's
I don't know if I can't see it. I don't know if
Nunny.
yeah. I'm sure you put it up, but I don't see it.
Oh yeah, I put it in OBS.
Oh, okay, okay. All
Yeah.
right.
So
Well,
yeah, that's what he's supposed to look like.
exactly. Now, tell me how you're supposed to make that look realistic. Tell me how you translate a human like features to that.
Yeah.
He's a freaking head with the legs the size of a hand
Yeah.
and arms, like how do you make that look realistic? Like you guys are complaining. I don't want to say you guys, sorry. I think the collective is complaining about something that is just like we know how absurd he looks in the comics. Of course he's gonna look absurd in like a semi live action film, you
Right.
know? Like it just I don't get what you guys want. Now, I know it wasn't the best received by critics, I believe. Again, I didn't see what they were saying was like the problem or the issue or something like that. I don't know if it's just like I think I read something about like potentially like stale writing and things like that. Which again, this is the problem with setup movies. Is that they're setting up Kang, which if you guys, again, spoilers, if you haven't seen Loki, Kang is like not the final boss, but he's like one of the main characters we end up coming introduced to in the final episode of Loki. And obviously, Jonathan Majors is fantastic. I think he's gonna kill it as Kang.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, but it's like I said, it's very interesting that like these setup movies tend to have like the lesser like they're not as well received. You
Mhm.
know,
And then what happens is 10, 12, 20 movies down the line, when it all
yeah,
comes together, then they're going to come back and be like, oh, it was such a great setup.
exactly.
Uh,
When at the time, but again, it's just it's the vocal minority, as
right.
with a lot of internet complaining tends to be. It's always like a small or very select group of people that are just like, oh, this is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I cannot believe that they're doing this with this. Like I said, I plan to get around to Quantum Mania at some point. Because again, Kang's super interesting. I don't know how they're gonna. I believe in the comics he was like a long lost descendant of Reed Richards, I believe. Yeah.
I actually
So
don't remember.
um, I don't know how they're gonna do that. Um, Again, he could just be his own thing, which I'm fine with.
Yeah,
Or they could play into the whole Fantastic Four thing, and we could see how it goes from there. But
I hope so.
I mean, I do too, because honestly, we need the Fantastic Four just like we need mutants. I'm
We
hoping
need a good
Deadpool.
Fantastic Four.
I mean, the first one wasn't bad.
It
It's just
wasn't
the second
terrible.
one was doo
Yeah.
doo.
The second one hurt more
Oh
because I
yeah.
love Silver Surfer
Oh, me too,
and
man.
Galactus,
Galactus is great.
and it was just so disappointing.
They
And
really
then,
just tease you on that. Just
yeah.
this big band lumbering over New York. You go, who that be?
Yeah,
And
and
then
it's
nothing
just,
ever came of that again.
oh man, it was, yeah. Um, I've actually heard some complaints, and I'm not sure why people expect this. They're like, oh, it seemed pretty tame compared to, Endgame.
Mhm.
And reading that, it's, well, what did you expect?
Yeah, just hearing that pisses me off.
Do you expect every Marvel movie to be, yeah, we're going to kill off half the cast? Like, what?
Yeah.
We're setting up a story here, and stories have phases, and it's got to build up to a finale. Again, what? This is a new phase. What did you expect?
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to
And
wash everyone and then just come out on top.
exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Like I said, I don't, uh, it's just one of those things that, like, when have we ever seen this where we have a continuation from something that started in like 2006 or 7, whenever the first Iron Man came out, till, we're approaching 20 years of movies that do extremely well, are, I would say, for the majority, extremely well received, good movies. Like, we're just getting it doesn't happen,
Yeah,
you
this
know?
is uncharted territory.
Like, yeah, and like I know people are burnt out. Like I said, I'm kind of burnt out too. I haven't seen Thor, and I didn't watch Black Panther, but I do plan on watching Black Panther and Thor at some point. But
Oh, the second Black Panther?
yeah, yeah.
You know what? Even if you don't have high hopes for the movie, I enjoyed it. I liked it. I
No,
think it was good.
I heard it. Yeah, I heard it was excellent.
The
It's just,
soundtrack,
yeah,
bro. There are a couple moments where I'm like, man, I really just want to go watch this scene because that soundtrack along with the
mhm.
scene, oh my God, amazing.
Yeah, I think Ryan Coogler is he's an excellent director, and I think he knows what he's doing when it comes to like that's his franchise. I think is Black Panther, and I hope he stays on as a future director for Marvel project because the dude is excellent.
Yeah,
Um,
I liked it. It was good.
yeah, like I said, I just it's instead of the complaint is like, oh, we're burnt out on movies. I'm like, just don't watch it then. You
Right.
know, take some time, watch something else, come to it, at some point or whatever the case is.
If you want to wait until the big finale, then watch a summary right before and go
Yeah,
watch it. Like,
you know,
do your own thing. Do what works for you. You
so
do
it's
you,
just yeah,
as the monks once said.
it's always something, man. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Ant-Man, but I figured, if they're setting up Kang as kind of his first like major villain appearance, like I'll
Mhm.
give it a watch. You know?
I Ant-Man as a hero, yeah, I'm not like, okay, he's cool, but Paul Rudd is so
Yeah,
good.
I think he's kind of the main like I
Draw.
guess selling point here. Yeah, Paul Rudd and
Yeah,
his
I agree.
timing, and he's a great actor too. So
Eh, but, I've tried to avoid spoilers,
it's hard.
and luckily I haven't seen anything like, oh, this is what happens. Like I'll see a clip on TikTok and I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's filming this as well as Creed 3,
Hmm.
I'm really hoping and I'm really curious if at some point Jonathan Majors just opens up on Ant-Man and just gives him like the business, just gets him on the ground and beats the crap out. I'm like, please, you know what? They can pull some shenanigans like killing a variant. I don't mind. Just I
Yeah,
would love to see that just to unload on him.
that would be dope.
Yeah. I think that'd be a lot of
I
fun.
did see, you speaking of Creed, again, you got Michael B. Jordan, and then you got Jonathan Majors. Apparently, there's a lot of anime references in Creed 3, I guess for their fights.
Oh, like the moves?
Yeah, from like one of the boxing animes, Hajime no Ippo. Um,
Hmm.
it's like one of the most well-renowned like sports animes, and I think just animes in general. It's well loved. But there's some moves from there. There's even, I believe I can kind of confidently say this, our favorite anime, Dragon Ball Z
Ah,
Super. There's even a recreation of the famous Goku punch against Full Power Frieza, where he gives him just the good old gut punch, and Frieza kind of like recoils in a little bit and kind of like like he's been punching the gut viciously.
yeah.
Apparently they said screw it, we're going for it. I'm like, you know what? That's what happens when you get a nerd
Yep.
who loves anime into like a major motion picture. I'm just like, I love it. I love to see it.
It's great because you know what? You say what you want about anime. When it comes down to the fights,
Oh,
there's
dude.
nothing like it.
Yeah,
It
because
can all
it's
be filler crap, but the fights,
yes, yes.
mm,
Like I said, and that comes with the suspension of disbelief. You know what I'm saying? Like your mind knows you're looking at animated characters, and your mind makes the connection. Like, yeah, that could be done by these guys. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But if you saw two like real action, like real life characters, or even uh real life characters who are CG'd, you go, man, that seems kind of out of their realm of possibility, doesn't it? You know what I'm saying?
right.
Even if you believe it if you don't believe it for a split second, they have failed. You know, and I think anime kind of, like I said, I think it takes that cake in terms of like, yeah, like you said, the fights and all that stuff. Because like, where else can you see something like that besides maybe a video game or like maybe another animated movie potentially?
Right. It sets the bar of ridiculousness
Hmm.
high from the beginning. That way,
Exactly.
when it comes to stuff like that, you're not like, no, that's not real.
Yeah.
That's not realistic. It's like, oh no, this is incredible.
Exactly. And
Give me more.
I think we've been conditioned, maybe some more so in the West with just general cartoons and like kind of the dumb things that happen in those, like characters like picking up couches when they're vacuuming and stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, it's a cartoon. Like I could believe that happened.
Right.
It makes sense within the realms of I think the cartoon. So, um, but speaking of anime, Attack on Titan coming out with
Nani?
the final few episodes of the final season, season 4.
I need
Um,
to watch that.
it is now. I know there was like some controversy with the creator of the show and things like that. Because I believe he, if I remember correctly, he was like a big proponent of eugenics, which is
Ah, okay, like
yeah,
the manipulation of genes and
well,
specifically,
not specifically that, but more
s-
specifically, like, oh, your genes are not as good as mine.
right, like suppressing, or like when it comes to, I know there's a country that I think still practices it, where if you get pregnant and
Mhm.
your child has any chance of being born with like autism or whatnot, they just are like, oh
Deformity or something. Yeah,
yeah, they're just like, oh, we can just like abort this right now
yeah,
because it's not worth it. Like they just openly like, oh yeah, we offer this to you. You can do this. You can control, and it's just like,
yep.
dang.
Like I said, it's I know that I believe some controversy with him in there, but um, and I don't know what's happened with him and that, but again, I know the anime or the at least the manga has been finished for a while now. I think we're just getting animated into the actual show, but I can't wait. Um, like I said, it is, that I'm not going into any spoilers in that just because it's kind of way too soon, I think. But um, the the story we got in the first half of season 4 was damn. So I can't wait to see what they do. I'm very excited. I don't know how the show ends. I don't know what happens. I have never read the manga, so I'm just kind of looking. A couple days here. We'll start off with that new episode and see how it goes from there. But like I said, I'm really excited about that. Like really excited about that. So
Sweet. I
we're
I need to continue watching My Hero because I
oh s-
keep seeing clips of, I'm guessing, the latest episode, and
mhm.
it looks like a much darker season. Like uh the ant arc.
Oh, the Chimera and art. Oh, dude,
Yeah.
I just watched that fight between Netero and Meruem.
Oh my
Like,
god.
dude, it is
That's what I was gonna ask is, kind of what I'm into and what I like.
yeah.
How do you feel about Attack on Titan compared to like Hunter x Hunter?
So like the thing with Attack on Titan is that it's very much like a story based out of like there's a lot of like how do I say it? Like you question everything all the time. You know what I'm saying? Because like you're not sure of characters and you're not sure of like who's who, and there's some very big like reveals and surprises that you just would have never have seen coming. You know what I'm saying? And when it finally gets revealed to you, like I remember just kind of just sitting back for like I sat back for like a couple minutes and just went, man, I did not expect that. you know,
That's pretty
and then
cool.
looking back at it, you go, oh oh crap, like I do see that now. Um, Hunter x Hunter is it's your typical shonen. There's fights and there's story, and then there's little side whatever the case is. Like when they go to the Greed Island and
Mhm.
um the initial like hunter training exam and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? There's not many surprises or things like that. You just say the Attack on Titan is like you're guessing yourself all the time. You know what I'm saying? The stuff that does get revealed to you, you feel like you have a grasp on, and then something else pops up, and you're like, oh, oh, I didn't expect that.
Nani?
You go, huh? And then your mind just gets completely blown. Like I said, that first half of the final season, season 4, was just it was excellent in terms of like the reveals and like the stuff that we kind of I guess for those who have read the manga, you kind of go, no, I already knew about that. But for somebody who didn't, it blew my mind. Like I said, I did
You
not
said
in any
blue?
way. Yeah, definitely. BLUE and BLEW. It is you
Oh
know,
man, that's
it
cool.
really takes the whole wrinkle thing into effect, like brain wise, because like I said, you think you haven't figured it out. You really think you do, and then you don't. And it's just like, oh, ooh,
I
okay, all
love
right.
that. That's part of why I loved Horizon Zero Dawn so much, is
Mm,
because by the end you're like, I know how this all started, and then it
exactly.
comes in from 20 miles away, and you're just like, it's great, especially when it's
Yeah.
done well. When the explanation is like, whoa, not like, oh, that's dumb. You
Yeah,
know?
and I think that's what's important. You know what I'm saying? Is like setting that expectation in terms of like, oh well, how ridiculous is this?
Right.
Or like, is this believable enough? So
God,
yeah,
anime. It's so good. I
yeah.
really need to start watching more. I
I
I
know.
I saw a clip of My Hero why they explained why All Might and Midoriya are better with their quirks than everyone else because they were,
Hmm.
you know, spoilers, maybe
Kind of ish.
kind of spoilers for My Hero
I think I think
Academia.
I think more manga spoilers. I think I know they've gone into the show. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
they've gone to the show with it a little bit, but
I
I
know
think
they've
maybe
revealed it on the show because that's the
hmm
clip I watched.
yeah,
But just that explanation of like, oh, the fact that he's quirkless, like blah blah blah, and they show like a visual. It's like, oh, okay, this is cool. One, because now it solidifies like why these two were so much better at using it than the past ones, and two, for me personally, why Mirio wasn't the right fit
well, yeah,
because then
because
it's like, oh, he would have died early.
yeah, and his quirk already was kind of like I think the reliance on your initial quirk that you get as a child. You know what I'm saying? Midoriya's smart. Like I said, he studied heroes and he understands like kind of like I don't want to say like the general physics, but again, kind of how that works. So he applies I think his brain differently. Yeah, and like the fact that there's 11 or whatever it was like different powers that have been passed down.
Mm-hmm.
To kind of like assist with all for one,
Right.
or was one for all,
Yeah,
all
one
for
for
one,
all.
one for all.
Yeah.
Um, like I said, to assist with that, like I said, it really plays into like, yeah, he was the right choice, you know.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely need to catch up on that too, man. I need to catch up on that, and then season 2 of Demon Slayer. I
Oh,
have
that
not.
too.
I've seen the movie Mugen Train.
Mm-hmm.
I just have not seen the damn show, man, and I'm always disappointed in myself because I'm like, damn, dude.
I need to watch Mugen Train.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, I really. Oh, can you rent it somewhere?
I'm sure. I'm sure
Okay,
somewhere
I'll
you
have to
get it.
look. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot about this.
Oh damn.
Brain needs to work. Okay, I've only had like 3 cups of coffee today.
Only.
Bro, I watched my first Bob Ross video today.
Oh
Like
man, really?
episode of yeah, I've seen like clips before and whatnot, but like Abby was on the couch. She wanted to get out of the room. She's like, I feel terrible. I made her something to eat. She's like, I need to watch something soothing. She turned on Bob Ross.
Hmm.
It has never. You might listen to what people say. Oh, Bob Ross makes it look so easy. Blah blah blah. Okay, whatever. He does. He does.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you want to add trees? Just go like this,
Yeah.
and it looks incredible. And you're like, what? He had a full-on painting, and it was like a valley.
Yeah.
And then he starts telling this story, like, oh, this guy came up to me and said, you know what? I've seen a place like that, but it had a pond. And he told the guy, oh, well, you know what? You start writing the check for it, and by the time you're done, it'll have a pond. He takes a big brush and does some swipes
Hmm.
and smears the entire like bottom in a way that makes it look like it's a reflective pool of water. And he's like, now you have a pond. And it's just like,
Yeah.
what? It was
You know,
insane.
there was years back, I want to say like maybe 4 to 5 years ago, uh they had a whole, I think it was a week long on Twitch. It was a stream of all Bob Ross episodes. And I I didn't care what I was doing. If I was doing work or if I was doing homework or whatever the case is, like I said, I would throw that stream up and just it entrances you, you know, because like you said, it pulls you in and you go, how is that possible? And like I guess there's all those memes that just like you can't do. How you gonna make a tree with that? And then you go, what? He made a tree? It literally just blows your mind because I think when we see paintings, we see paintings that are finished.
Mhm.
We see art that is finished, and to see something like that is being worked on at the time, and like, oh yeah, I see. Like when my favorite is when he makes the mountains. He takes that kind of like that right
That
angle, like
like chisel thing.
yeah, jig that he's got, and just goes, doot, doot, and then and there's your mounts, and I'm just like, it's so effortless.
Yep.
And kind of like you said, he makes it look so easy, but it is.
And he's so even when he's saying it, when he's doing it, he's nonchalant about it. He's like,
Yeah.
you know what? Let's add an almighty mountain. Everyone
Hmm.
loves a mountain. And it's like, what?
There it is.
That
You
was
go,
like
Bob.
two
How'd you
steps.
do, how'd you do that, Bob?
Yeah. It's like, wait a minute. There was a glitch. Can you go back?
Yeah,
I,
you know.
but it's so cool, and he's so, you know, now that we have our pond, I think I want to make it back into that valley so we can just take this, and we can go back over it with some grass. And it's like
hmm You're gonna beat the devil out of it.
absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was so relaxing.
yeah. Like I said, it is. There is something, about that really kind of just I think puts you in like a different zone of comfort.
Yeah,
Because
it was great.
yeah, it's awesome. I do love watching that stuff. Um, I don't know if Speaking of Bob Ross, there was like I don't know if it was a GIF or some type of whatever, but they took like all his paintings that he did, and they kind of like I think they used like an AI thing to like put them together, or maybe somebody literally I can't remember. Somebody just took all the paintings that he finished with, but he makes a whole like it's like a whole like massive portrait or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It's like it's all part of a bigger thing.
And he's just painting pieces.
Yeah. And like
That's
somebody put it together, and I'm
wild.
just like, what? Like I couldn't believe it. I was like, yo, that's awesome. Now again, I don't know if that was initially what was intended, but yeah, it looked amazing. I was like, holy moly, dude. It looks so dope.
That'd be the biggest brain like slow play.
That's my MCU right there.
Yep, it's like I'm gonna show people these basic paintings that they can do and pretend like it's just, you know what? Whatever comes to mind. And then I'm gonna put it all together and reveal this giant just masterpiece. It's like,
Yeah. That's the Bob Ross cinematic universe right there.
yeah.
Man was thinking years ahead,
Yep. He was
couldn't
thinking of
believe it.
phase 7 in phase 1.
Oh, dude, yeah. That is galaxy brain right there.
Cue
Oh.
meme. Oh
Like I said,
man.
yeah, it
I,
is. There's something just comforting about, just watching that.
yeah, it was really nice. It was very nice. You know what's also really like it's for me personally, really
Mm,
calming is I don't think it's ASMR because that's not the objective of the video,
yeah,
but when I see whether it be intros to videos or like breaks in videos and somebody makes coffee from start to finish and they've got all the
mm,
sound effects. So they like scoop the beans, they weigh
yeah,
them, they grind them, and then they're like pouring the water and you can hear the sound of the water and it's like
yeah.
dripping
Like the
down.
cup filling up.
Yeah. It's like, wow, I could watch this all day. And like some good cuts, some good editing just throws it all together. It's like, oh, yes, give it
Yeah.
to me.
Like I said, I don't drink coffee, so I'm not like, I cannot say like, oh, that looks like a good cup of coffee because I
Mm,
really couldn't know. But every time I see those videos, I go, that makes me want to have a cup of coffee, because
right.
you're right. Like there was something just kind of I think special about like you said, like the grinding and the pouring and like I know there's one I think it was a TikTok channel I came across. It was like all these different instruments. It's like, oh, we're weighing out the beans. We're blanching them here and like doing this whole thing and like, oh, we're gonna do like a pre-pour and then we're gonna do. I'm like, that's crazy. I thought you just, I think as most people I think associate coffee with, especially maybe more back then than it is now because obviously things change. But
Mhm.
um, it's like you have your crappy coffee maker, you put the ground coffee in the top, you put the water in the back, and there's your coffee.
Right.
You know, like I didn't think there was a such thing as artisan coffee until I think you like showed me some or told me about some. I'm like, huh? And then I started doing some googling, and it's just like, oh yeah, the world's most expensive cup of coffee, and you're just like, how much is that? It's like, oh, a couple $100. I'm like, how is that possible? It's just beans from the ground. But then I go, wait, they sell meat from a cow for like a couple $100 per ounce or whatever. I'm like, I get it. And then they have like that, whatever it is. It's like that cat, the civet, I think it is. It like poops out the coffee beans. Apparently, it's like a whole thing. Like that's crazy. Like I would never put that in my mouth, but you know, I guess teach their own, man.
Yeah, there's actually a channel I follow. It's like a small startup in I think LA. And
Oh,
they've got like 5 people working there, but they just make videos on coffee. They'll just like, brew it. They'll like run their hands through the beans and they'll show them being ground and whatnot. It's just
mm,
like, yes, this is what I want. this is like all I want.
Yeah, that does sound satisfying as hell.
Yeah, it's
Because I
nice.
really don't do ASMR, but
Mhm.
yeah, something that is well edited, you know, like maybe a kind of more specific, like a specific niche, I do enjoy.
Right.
Uh, like for me, it's usually unboxings. Like when I see like unboxing videos, I'm like, I love these.
Yeah.
You
Have you
know?
watched Unbox Therapy?
Yeah, unbox therapy. Yeah,
Yeah.
stuff's
I
great.
love when he pulls out like he's got a custom knife for each video.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's awesome. Uh oh God. Oh no. No, 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 no. Hold on, hold on, hold on. It's still there. I gotta keep it.
He's having a brain blast.
Yep. Hold on. It's trying to run away. Oh, okay. So have you ever heard of the board game, the Best Friend game?
Doesn't sound familiar.
So it's just like a card game, and you're on teams of two, and you have to answer for the other person. So
Oh,
if
so it's like the Newlywed Game.
probably
Yeah, where it's like they ask a question like, "Oh, what's their favorite food?" and then you write down like, "Oh, it's this."
right, right, right.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was thinking a good idea for a video or maybe a stream
Uh-huh.
later on. We do that, and because I would not be able to keep up at all, for everyone we get wrong, we take a drink.
Oh no.
Doesn't have to be a shot because, like I said, you destroy me.
Yeah.
But we take a drink, and I feel like we could do pretty well.
Yeah. I guess that's fair because I'm pretty familiar with like your interests, and I think you are mine as well. That could be interesting.
The only one I wasn't sure on, Abby brought it up. She's like, "Oh, you could do like what's his favorite movie?" And I'm like, I feel like he could guess mine.
Oh,
I for
yeah,
you because you like different things about different movies for
yeah,
different reasons,
yes.
but just purely one you could watch whenever. I was gonna say one of the older Godzillas.
Uh, well, okay. So here's the thing. All right, now we're getting into. Let me adjust this and kind of sit back. My favorite guy, and this is if whoever comes across this, I'm sorry. I know it's not like I know it's not like an excellent movie by any regards, but my favorite movie of all time is Predator from 1987 with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, Jesse Ventura, like
You know what?
that.
Okay,
And
that's
I
fair.
Yeah, because like again, like you said, I like different movies for different things. Now, it's not a work of art. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? It's really not. But it is a fantastic sci-fi horror film, and it is just a good 80s action flick that just for me scratches like every single itch I have for stuff like that.
It's just very thrilling. It's very like
Yeah,
keep you on your toes and
you
anxious
know,
the entire time.
we I really don't want this to turn into anything longer than it should be, but we don't see the alien for like almost half the movie. Like 50 minutes in, we finally get like an actual visual of this goddamn thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the whole time we're in suspense. The things that's been watching our team from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? It's psychological. It works so well across so many different types of like genres and things like that. Like I said, the newer entries, I'm not like the biggest fan of. Like more specifically, like the Alien versus Predators. The
Mhm.
first one was okay. The second one was hot ass. Predator from like 2018. That one was not good. Predators with Adrian Brody was Topher Grace. A couple of those guys. That was decent. And then Prey is amazing. The one that came out
Oh
last
my
year.
God, Prey
Yeah,
was incredible.
like I said, it's but like yeah, because I don't look at that movie as like, and I don't look at that movie as like, oh, it's a must watch or whatever that. But every time that movie's on, I will sit down and watch it. You know what I'm saying? And very few movies I think I can do that with. You know, um, but
That's
the Godzilla's. I think it's kind of different for different things.
mhm. That's
Because my
fair.
favorite. Oh, go ahead.
No, no, no. Keep going.
Oh, I would say my favorite Godzilla film is Godzilla versus Space Godzilla from '94 because that's the year I was born, and I just love that monster design. Like I said, we get some awesome monsters in there, um, Mogira and obviously Space Godzilla, and like just whatever the case is, the music is good, but like I said, yeah, you know. But I don't think there's No, there's a Godzilla top five in my list. I would say there's no top five Godzilla movies or top five in my favorite movies of all time, but there's a Godzilla movie.
Okay. Dang. Okay. I didn't think I would get that one right.
It's
But
hard,
like
man,
that.
because like I said, I on one hand I can go, yeah, I like that because of it's like, oh, it's shot gorgeous or the soundtrack is amazing and like I love the acting, but then it's just like I like it because monster is scary and big boom. You know? It's like yeah,
Lizards
it's
firing fire and
yeah,
big
exactly.
fights.
Hey, listen, man, it's atomic breath. Get it right.
Oonga oonga boonga.
Big explosion. So there is something I
Uh,
think special about those just movies that you can just kind of like sit down and watch. You
yeah,
know.
that's true because I feel like there are movies I've loved on the watch, but I wouldn't watch
Hmm.
them again for like a few years.
Yeah,
Inception.
Inception's great.
I would watch. I think I did. I watched it twice, and now I don't need to watch it. I don't even know if I need to watch it ever again.
Mhm.
You know, it's just it was
And
great, and that's cool.
I think you're right with that. You know,
Mhm.
because it is a good movie. It really is. You know, but once like the secret of the movie has kind of been like undone in your head, it's hard to like look at that movie as anything other than just like like not time travel, but like like how your brain works and like tricking and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like the kind of magic is lost.
Mhm.
You know, versus something like, again, this is the second time we're talking about it, or like third time we're talking about Interstellar, which is just like you know
Ah,
what happens, but like your brain is just so absorbed by like the characters and the music and the visual and the scenery and just everything that is happening that you kind of like you forget about it. You know,
yep. So
you kind
that
of go,
was gonna
oh
be my favorite.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
yeah, I know 100%. I know. It was to me, it was either that or Man of Steel.
those were the
You know,
two I was tossing around. I'm like, nah, it's got to
yeah.
be Interstellar.
Like I
Uh,
said,
yeah.
it's just I get it. You know, like I said, they just it really is like I think a pinnacle of like movie and like everything that came together in like Christopher Nolan's mind, kind of just like, yeah, I'll make that. You know, I think that could work. You know, and it just it's amazing. It's an amazing film. Like I said, I mean, to be fair, any one of these films that we've mentioned, um, Inception, uh, Interstellar, Godzilla versus Space Godzilla,
Mhm.
Predator. If you haven't seen them, go watch them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're all good movies. All
Even
good
Man of
for
Steel.
different reasons, though.
Oh
Oh,
my god,
yeah, forgot Man of Steel. Yeah, um,
absolutely incredible.
yeah.
Like,
I said it's just
especially with Hans Zimmer.
oh, dude. Yeah, I recently re-listened to some of the Man of Steel soundtrack, and
Whew.
man, I'm a sucker for it. You know what I'm saying?
I've got it on
Like
a
I said,
playlist on my
yes,
Spotify for like if I'm working
yes,
out. I
it's
put on
excellent.
flight and I'm like, all right, here we
Man,
go.
that makes that weight light.
Yep.
I bet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey man, that was pretty good.
Yeah, well, you
So I feel like that would be a fun either a video or a stream. I feel like that could be enjoyable,
yeah,
especially for people watching. Juno
that does sound fun. Actually, now that I think about it, yeah. I'll have
or
to get some. I have to buy some more alcohol.
yeah, some Tito's.
Yeah.
Oh man. And then of course there's always like the hot wing thing.
Oh, what the spicy wings?
Oh yeah. We
Oh, this.
get some like plain wings from Wingstop and then get all
Mhm.
the hot ones, sauces.
Oh, Jesus
Just
Christ!
start dipping the tipping.
And then also eating the hot wings.
Oh man. My back hurts. I feel like it's just age, man. I'm not even old.
Oh man.
I feel like I hit 23 and everything just started hurting. Like
Yeah.
I
You
get
know.
up, I remember being younger, you could lay with your head hanging off the bed or
Mhm,
fall asleep in like, you look like you're in the Conjuring or the Exorcism, all like backwards arms and all this crap.
mhm.
Wake up feeling great. Nowadays, you're basically dead if you fall asleep like that.
I mean, that's just how it is. And I think that has a honestly, I think that has a lot to do with like mobility. You know. Um,
That's true.
like I said, I think as we've gotten over, we tend to like lose our mobility and like kind of our like spring backiness. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, so I do know what you mean because there are some I work graveyard, so I sleep during the day, wake up at night, or kind of like late afternoon. There are some days I'll wake up and I go, Jesus H, man, what punched me yesterday? You know, or like my knees will be bugging me, or my back, my back will be bugging me, or whatever. I'm like, holy moly, dude.
You said
And then there's
back.
some days I'm like, I feel like $1 million. You
Mhm.
know, like but the in between is like that's usually where I border at. We're like, oh, I got some like discomfort, like I had some, like discomfort in my ankle the other day. I'm like, it's just normal now, I guess. Um, so
Just
I
gotta
don't know,
live with
man.
these aches.
Yeah,
You said back, sack, and crack.
it's my favorite type of wax, baby. You know it.
That would be a great brand for wax. It covers
Oh,
all the bases.
yeah.
Hey, we got to patent that.
Hey, man. Hey,
Back,
cut this
sack,
out.
and crack. You didn't hear it here first.
Absolutely not.
Oh man. Well, this has been fun.
Yeah.
Anything else on your head, Shum?
Um. No. Just continue being a good person.
Yeah.
I think
Stay.
everybody in general, like I said, don't let the world make you evil. I feel
Yeah.
like I'm seeing that a lot nowadays. It's easy to, I guess, subject yourself to like the opinions and the workings of others. You know what I'm saying? But if you got a good soul, be a good soul.
Mhm.
Continue to be a good soul.
It's
So
too
it's
easy these days to do the wrong thing and then have a bunch of
exactly,
reasons to justify to yourself why it was the right thing.
exactly.
So,
So,
as Matthew McConaughey said, don't do things in life that leave breadcrumbs. Then he goes on to, leave a couple like examples, but basically don't leave things in your life that require you to look over your shoulder and be like, is this going
mm,
to come back to haunt me?
I like that.
So, no regrets.
Yeah, absolutely not. You know what I'm saying?
As Gandhi once said, no regrets.
No regrets.
Everyone have a safe weekend. Hope y'all enjoyed. Go down there and comment on some subjects we should talk about. If you liking what you're watching or hearing, head over to that TikTok. You can see some short form content.
Yeah.
Yeah, with some funny editing here and there. Gotta spice it up a bit.
Oh yeah.
And
Man, just it's flavor.
that's right. We gotta sprinkle some cayenne on there, or some
Mm.
paprika, maybe some chili
Oh
flakes.
yes.
Gotta get that crack burning, but only on the way out.
Listen, if it's going on the way in, stay safe.
Oh man. Well, everyone have a great day, and we'll see you in the next one.
Catch you guys later.
Yeah.
Oh man.